Hi, yogis. My name is Daniel. Hopefully you can hear me okay. We're going to get started in just a minute or two. Get started right about 7 o'clock. Thanks for joining in tonight. If you have 2 blocks, we're going to probably use some blocks and a strap today. We've got a fun peak pose that we're going to work towards. They might help. If you don't have a strap, you could also just use a belt. Any kind of belt with a loop will help as well. But if you don't worry about it. Blocks definitely will help if you have them. If not, you can make do. Just going to check the stream, make sure we're live and everything looks good, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, looks like we're all set. 7 o'clock, March 19th. We're trying out YouTube Live this evening instead of Twitch. Just going to compare and contrast, see which one works better. If you have any comments, let me know. You can either leave a comment on the YouTube Live chat or email us in the description for the video, and on the studio website have our email addresses. So again, I'm going to be your yoga instructor today. I'm here at Emerald Aura Yoga Studio in Baltimore, Maryland. As you can tell, I've changed around the space a little bit, tried to make it a little more visually pleasing to the eyes. So hopefully that helps with our practice today. I'm excited. Again, we're doing this because we're all kind of quarantined around the nation, around the world right now. So it's tough for a lot of us to get out. Most of the studios are closed, so we're all trying to just live stream to bring yoga to you so you don't have to leave the comfort and cleanliness of your home. So again, we're asking for donations to Movable Feast. They are a Baltimore-based nonprofit organization that provides meals to immune-compromised individuals. So if you want to donate, link should be in the description. Again, thanks for joining. We're going to go ahead and get started. So hopefully you're ready, because I am. We're going to get started in child's pose. So again, if those of you are just joining now, ideally we're going to use a couple blocks and a strap, but if you don't have them, don't worry about it. Okay, so we're going to come into child's pose. There's a couple different options for starting in child's pose. 3 options that I like to describe. First option, you can have your knees together and the tips of your big toes together. Start like that, or if you want, your knees can come out to the width of your mat. Keep your toes touching. Or if you want, your knees and your toes can both be hip-width distance apart. Either way, you can kind of play around with it, do what works for you. We're going to be here for a couple minutes as we get started with practice. Once you find your footing in your seat, you're going to lower your forehead to the ground or to the mat. And from here, if your forehead doesn't reach the ground, you can always place a block underneath. That'll give you a little bit of leverage. Now start with your arms forward, palms down, forehead down to the mat. Those back toes to the tops of the toes press into the ground. Press the tops of the toes into the ground. Press the tops of your thighs into the ground. Hug those elbows in and back. And on your next inhale, lift your head up and your chest up into baby cobra. Stay here for a breath, looking for more length and height. One more inhale. And exhale, release that forehead back down to the ground. Let's do that one more time. Press the tops of the feet and the tops of the thighs into the ground. Hug those elbows back. Draw the shoulder blades together as you inhale and lift the head up and the chest up into baby cobra. Stay here for one more breath. And exhale, release the forehead to the mat. Curl those back toes under. Press yourself up into tabletop. Lift your knees up, hips up, pressing yourself back into downward facing dog. Now we're here for 3 or 4 breaths. Maybe start to pedal your knees and your legs, still loosening up. Just stay in your downward facing dog. Okay, from your downward facing dog, knees are slightly bent. Inhale, gaze forward. Bend the knees even more. Exhale as you walk or step to the top of the mat. Feet or hips with distance. Inhale, lift halfway, nice flat back. Exhale, forward fold, knees can bend. Inhale, arms out and up, chest up, look up. Exhale, hands down to the center of your chest and down to the sides. Okay, let's do that again. Another sun salutation. Inhale, arms up, chest up, look up. Exhale, bend the knees, send your torso forward and down. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to the shins, nice flat back. Exhale, forward fold, hands come to the ground. Step your right foot back. Step your left foot back in the plank. We're going to hold this plank for 2 or 3 breaths. You can always drop to your knees if you need to. Otherwise, stay with your knees up. Pressing those heels back. Shoulders should be directly over those wrists. One more inhale here. And exhale. Okay, everyone drop your knees to the ground. Shift the torso forward. Bend the elbows. We're coming all the way down to the ground again. Uncurling those back toes. Pressing the feet down into the mat. Pressing the thighs down. Elbows hang back. On your next inhale, lift your head up and your chest up into baby cobra. And exhale, release down. Let's do that one more time. Pressing the legs down. Inhale, lift your head up, chest up, drawing the shoulder blades together. Exhale, releasing the forehead to the mat. Curling those back toes under. Pressing your hips back up into tabletop. Lifting the hips all the way up into downward facing dog. Staying here for 3 or 4 breaths again. Try and press down through the base of each finger and each palm, especially the index and that thumb. They like to pop up. Trying to hug the triceps in as you keep your arms straight. Pressing your chest back toward your thighs. One more inhale here. And exhale. Okay, inhale, gaze forward. Bend the knees. Exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Inhale, lift halfway, feet or hips with distance. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms out and up, chest up, look up. Exhale, hands down to the center of your chest and down to the sides. All right, one more time. We'll bring it up to 1 breath, 1 movement for each pose. Here we go. Feet or hips with distance, heels behind center toes. Let's inhale, the arms up, chest up, look up. Exhale, forward fold, knees can bend. Inhale, halfway lift, nice long spine. Exhale, bend your knees, place your palms down, send your right foot back, send your left foot back. Drop your knees to the ground, shift your torso forward, bend your elbows lower all the way to the mat. Uncurl the back toes, inhale, lift your head up and your chest up into baby cobra. Exhale, release that forehead to the mat. Curl the back toes under, press yourself up into tabletop. Lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. We're here for 3 or 4 breaths again. Your knees can always bend if you need to in downward facing dog. You can always come back into tabletop as well. Either way, take 1 more breath wherever you are. Now inhale, gaze forward. This time we're coming down to our knees. So drop your knees to the ground underneath your hips, wherever they land. And we're going to press back into child's pose just for a couple breaths here. Your version of child's pose, forehead to the mat or to a block. You can even bring your arms down towards your heels. Just one more breath here. Okay, send your arms back out in front of you if they're not still there. Press yourself up into tabletop. And now we're going to come down to our bellies for this next pose. So, make sure your props are out of your way. You're coming down to your belly, extending your feet straight back, forehead to the mat. Now, this is a shoulder opener coming up. So you're going to start with your hands nice and wide, palms face down. Now, starting with your forehead down on the mat, you're going to tent up on your right fingertips. So your right fingertips are going to come up on the ground. Your left palm is still facing the ground. Turn your head to look at those right fingertips, and now start to walk those right fingertips back in towards your chest as you press yourself up, and you're starting to roll your right side on top of your left side. So now that right leg is on top of the left leg, and you're pressing yourself as far as you can go, just comfortably. See if you can rest the left side of your head on the mat, and just go to your capacity. You can stay here. If you want, you can bend that right knee, send the bottom of that right foot behind that left foot, so that the right knee faces the ceiling. You should feel a nice shoulder opener in that left side. Just go to your capacity. And if that's a little bit too much, you can even move your left arm down towards your thighs, towards your hips. I'm just going to stay here for a breath or two. Okay, let's release that right leg if you have the knee bent. You're going to roll back onto your belly just nice and slowly, extending that right arm out. So now both palms are facing down, both arms are out to a T. And we're going to do the other side. So now tent up on your left fingertips, right palm faces down. Turn your head to look over at those left fingertips. You're going to start to walk those fingertips in toward your chest as you roll your left leg on top of your right. Right palm still faces down. But again, if this is too much, you can always move that arm down closer to your hips. Either way, just go to your capacity. See if you can rest your head on the ground if you don't have an earpiece in, and just walk your hand into your capacity. Maybe you bend your left knee, drop that left foot behind that right knee so that the left knee faces up towards the ceiling. Again, you should feel this, a nice shoulder opener in that right shoulder now. Just try and send your breath there as we're here for 2 more breaths. Okay, now we're going to gently release that top leg if the knee is bent, slowly rolling back onto our belly, extending both arms out to the side. Now this time, both arms are going to come down to your side. You're still on your belly, you still have your forehead to the mat, but this time we're going to try something else. So, you're going to bend your right knee so that the bottom of your right foot faces the ceiling. Flex that right foot. Now take your left arm and send it forward so that your palm faces down, out, extended. Now take your right arm. See if you can grab either the outside or if you can the inside of that right leg. Basically right around the ankle. Now make sure your foot's not flying out and still try and keep that foot hip-width distance when you grab it. Now here's where you could use a strap if you can't quite grab it. So if you have your strap or your belt, just take a moment. If you don't need the strap, just stay in that pose for now. Just gently hugging your knee into your chest. If you have a strap, just wrap it around and grab it with your right arm. Keep your forehead to the mat, wherever you are. And just see if you can draw that foot just a little bit closer in toward your thigh. Take one more inhale here. And exhale. Okay, release your arm or release the strap. We're going to come to the other side. So now you can extend your right hand forward. Left arm comes back. Top of the right foot back down to the ground. Now you're going to bend your left knee so that the bottom of your left foot faces the ceiling. Make sure you're flexing those left toes. Take your strap or your arm, send it back. Either grab the outside of the ankle, or if you can, ideally grab the inside of the ankle. That's going to externally rotate your arm as you're clasping it. Either way, wherever you are, keep your forehead to the mat. And just try and draw that heel a little bit closer in toward your hips. Stay here for one more breath. And just exhale as you gently release that. Now we're going to place both hands underneath basically our shoulders, maybe a little bit behind our shoulders. Curl those back toes under. Take an inhale. Exhale, see if you can engage your back legs, lifting your thighs off the ground, pressing your heels back. And on your next inhale, press yourself up into plank pose. You can always drop to your knees and plank. Otherwise, we're going to stay here for 2 more breaths. Make sure the shoulders are directly over your wrists. The heels are pressing back, still hips width distance. 1 more breath. And just drop to those knees. Now we're coming up into downward facing dog just for a moment. I know we just came out of plank. But go ahead and lift your knees back up. Press your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Now gaze comes forward, bend the knees. Exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to the shins. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale the arms out and up, chest up, look up. Exhale, hands down to the center of your chest and down to the sides. Okay, so we did our sun salutations. We're nice and warmed up. Now, what are we going to do now? Yes, let's do some wide-legged forward folds. So, now you can face the long edge of your mat. So we've been facing the short edge for the majority of class. Now we're going to face the long edge here. So we're going to start with our feet nice and wide. Not too wide, just to your capacity. You may be looking for about 1 leg's distance apart. If you want to extend your arms out, it's basically where you drop the weight right from your wrists. Now you want to start with your heels behind those center toes. So your feet should be nice and parallel, just like we had at the top of our mat in our mountain pose. Start to just actively engage the legs, just gently drawing them in towards each other as you're pressing down through the outside edges of your feet. Take an inhale here and exhale. Okay, place your hands on your thighs. We're going to inhale into a slight back bend. Exhale, we're going to fold forward as the pelvis. Keep hugging those legs in, pressing those feet down. You're going to forward fold to your capacity. You can slowly release your arms to the ground. Maybe you're on your fingertips. Maybe your hands come to the ground. Maybe you're using your block. That's just a little bit of elevation. Either way, if you have 2 blocks, use them under each hand. If you have 1, both arms can grab that. If your hands are on the ground, you can begin to walk those hands back towards the back edge of your mat. Either way, wherever you are, try and shift a little bit of the weight forward into the tips of your toes, but still maintaining those heels on the ground. Arms should try and be shoulder width distance wherever you are. And maybe have a slight bend in those elbows, chaturanga arms. Take 1 more inhale here. And exhale. Okay, bring those hands back up to your waist, to your hips. Lift up halfway. And lift up all the way up, hugging those legs in together. Okay, that was our wide-legged stance. We're going to do a little different one, but first I want you to heel toe your feet back in. Let's shake those out a little bit. Okay, so another version of that, we're going to go right into that. So if you want, you can face the other side of your mat. I'm still just going to face the camera so you guys can see. So, coming back into your wide-legged stance, heels behind those center toes. Now, remember what we did in the beginning of class? We clasped fingers together behind our back. We're going to do that same thing. We're going to add on to this pose. So clasp those fingers behind your back. Remember, try and bring the wrists together. Now, once you have that, I guess maybe actually it might be better if I do it this way. Okay, we'll see. Keep the bottoms of your wrists together. And once you have that, try and straighten your arms, drawing your hands down your back. Once your arms are relatively straight, you can try and lift those hands off your back. Now, if you're not there and you want to use your strap, you can always use your strap if you can't quite clasp your hands back there. So, wherever you are, hands clasped, grabbing the strap. Take an inhale as you have a slight back bend, look up. Exhale, forward fold at the pelvis, pressing down through those feet, hugging those legs in towards each other. Start to shift some of the weight into the toes once you have your balance, still keeping the heels on the ground. Maybe you can lift your arms up a little bit more, drawing the shoulder blades together, widening those collarbones. Take one more inhale here. And exhale. Let's release the arms or the straps first. Release the arms down to the ground. Take a breath. Now let's bring those hands back to your hips. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, rise all the way back up by hugging those legs in. Great job. Okay. So, heel to those feet back into hips width distance. And let's just shake out those legs a little bit. Okay, we're going to come back to the top of our mat. Feet are hips width distance. Heels behind those center toes. We're going to do another version of sun salutation, kind of a modified sun B salutation. I'm going to look at you for this one, but you can stay at the top of your mat, feet hips width distance, heels behind center toes. So I'm just coming to the middle just so you guys can see. Okay, we're coming first into our chair pose. So make sure your feet are hips width distance, heels behind the center toes. Actively drawing the shoulder blades towards each other, broadening the collarbones. Palms face forward to start. Now we're coming into our chair pose. So we're going to bend our knees, send our hips back, send our arms forward, palms face each other. Now take a peek down, make sure you can look down and see those toes. If the knees are covering those toes, you just need to shift your hips back slightly. Take an inhale here. And exhale. Now bring your hands together at the center of your chest in prayer pose. You're still in your chair. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, we're going to twist to our right. You can stay up here, or if you want to drop that elbow outside the knee, you can do that. Looking for a nice twist here. Now, if you're turning to your right, your left hip may have come forward a little bit in that left knee. So you can send that left knee back. Whichever leg is on the outside edge now. Try and equalizing those knees. One more inhale here. And exhale. Okay, come back to chair pose with your prayer pose to the center. I know this is tough, but we got to switch sides. So whatever side you did first, do the opposite. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to twist. You can stay up here, or if you want to drop that elbow outside the knee. Whenever I do that, my outside knee always comes forward, so I got to shift it back. Keep the pelvis nice and neutral. Keep those knees in line. Slight tuck of the chin. Gaze is either to the side or maybe up towards the ceiling. One more inhale here. And exhale. Stay in your chair pose. Come back to center. One more inhale. And exhale, bend the knees. Release down into your forward fold. Now, from here, we're going to come into Padahastasana. So, the backs of your hands are going to come to the ground. And see if you can walk them, either place them under your feet or walk your feet on top of your palms. Now, knees can bend as much as they need to. They might be bending a lot. That's fine. Your legs don't need to be straight. But see if you can get your tips of your toes all the way up to your wrist creases. And if that doesn't quite work for you, just stay in your forward fold, trying to let your chest hang onto your thighs. Either way, once you have this, maybe you can start to straighten those legs slightly. Take one more inhale here. And exhale. Bend the knees a little bit more. Release the hands from underneath those toes. Stay here for a breath. Okay, let's inhale, lift up halfway, hands to the shins, nice flat back. Exhale, forward fold. We're coming back into our chair pose, so inhale, lifting the arms up, palms face each other. Knees are still bent. Now exhale, straighten the hands, straighten the legs. Hands come to the center of your chest and down to your side in your mountain pose. Great job. All right, so we're going to add on to that a little bit. Do a full sun B series. So now with your feet hips width distance, heels behind those center toes, coming back into our chair pose. So bend the knees, send the arms forward, palms face each other. Take an inhale here. Now exhale, forward fold, knees can bend. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to the shins, nice flat back, straighten the legs if you can. Bend the knees, forward fold, place the hands to the ground, step your right foot back, step your left foot back into plank. Drop the knees to the ground, send the torso forward, bend the elbows lower all the way to the mat. Uncurl those back toes, press the tops of the feet to the ground. Inhale as you lift up into baby cobra. Exhale as you release. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, lift up baby cobra. Exhale as you release. Curl those back toes under. Press yourself up in the tabletop. Lift the hips up and back into your downward facing dog again. Now we're going to move right from here. So shift some weight into that left foot as you lift your right leg up. Try not to move that pelvis too much, just like in our chair pose. Adjust if you need to. Flex those right toes. Make sure they're facing towards the ground. Now bend that right knee. You're going to send your torso forward, right knee into your chest, and drop your right foot to the ground. Now walk that right foot up to the top of your mat, in between both arms. We're coming into our low lunge pose here. Now in our low lunge, we want to make sure our feet have their own lane. Right foot should be on the right side of the mat, left foot should be on the left side. This is where, again, if you have blocks, they can help. You might come up onto your blocks, give you a little bit more elevation. If you don't have blocks, you can come up to your fingertips, or if you can, place the palms to the mat. Either way, wherever you are, stay for a breath here. Now, drop your left knee to the ground, uncurl those back toes. If you're on blocks or on the ground, tense up on your fingertips wherever you are. Actively press the top of that left shin into the ground. Press the right heel into the ground. You're going to inhale your arms forward and up into your Anjaneyasana. Now arms are up, palms facing each other. You're still trying to maintain a 90-degree angle, and that right knee should be directly over that right ankle. Both arms are up beside your ears. Take one more inhale here. Press your feet down. Exhale as you release your arms forward and down, back to your low lunge. Curl those back toes under. Lift that left knee back up. Get rid of your blocks if you have them. Place your hands back down on either side of that foot. Now send the right foot to meet the left foot. We're back in our plank pose now. So in our plank pose, we're just going to stay here for a breath. Now drop the knees to the ground. Shift the torso forward. Bend the elbows lower all the way to the ground. Uncurl the back toes. We're going to lift up into baby cobra. Now you have the option, if you want, to straighten your arms maybe into full cobra. Still pressing those legs down, drawing the backs of the shoulder blades together. One more inhale. Wherever you are, exhale gently. Forehead comes to the mat. Curl those back toes under. Press yourself back up into tabletop. Lift those hips back and up into downward facing dog. We're coming right to the other side, so lift that left leg up. Try and see if your pelvis shifted or not. If you need to adjust, you can. You're flexing those left toes so they face the ground. Take one more inhale. And exhale, bend your left knee into your chest. Send your torso forward, shoulders over your wrists. Drop your left foot wherever it lands. Now walk or step that left foot farther up to the top of your mat, in between both arms. And again, we're coming into our low lunge. Feet should be on either side of the mat, left foot on the left side, right foot on the right side. You can use your blocks if you want. Otherwise, fingertips or palms to the mat. Take one more inhale here. And exhale. All right, we're going to drop that right knee to the ground. Uncurl those back toes. Wherever you are, tense up on your fingertips. Take an inhale. Press the bottom heel of that left foot down. Press the top of the right shin down. On your next exhale, inhale, lift your arms up, chest up into your Anjaneyasana. Both arms are nice and straight, palms face each other. Lifting through the crown of your head, trying to tuck that tailbone down and under. Left knee should still be on top of that left ankle. One more inhale here. Press both feet down into the ground as you send your torso forward. Arms come forward and down. If you have your blocks, place them to the side. Palms come to the ground. You're going to curl those back toes under. Lift that right knee back up. Send that left foot to meet the back foot again. We're in our plank. We're going to stay here for 2 breaths. Making sure those back feet are hips width distance. Heels are pressing back. Hugging the navel up slightly into the lower spine. Now drop the knees to the ground. Send your torso forward, bend the elbows lower all the way to the mat. Uncurl those back toes. Lift up into baby cobra or your full cobra with straight arms. Either way, drawing the backs of the shoulder blades together, sending the chest forward. And exhale, release, forehead to the mat. Curl those back toes under. Press your hips back up into tabletop. Lift your hips up all the way into downward facing dog. Now here we're going to stay for 3 or 4 breaths. So see if you can catch your breath. Pedal your legs out if you need to. Actively pressing the chest back toward your thighs. Take one more inhale. And exhale. Okay, inhale, gaze forward. Bend the knees. Exhale, walk your step to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Feet should be hips width distance. Exhale, bend the knees, forward fold. We're coming back into our chairs, so inhale, lift your arms up. Knees are still bent, palms face each other. Straighten the legs, hands down to the center of your chest and down to the sides. Whew, all right, great job. We should be nice and warmed up now. I'm excited for our peak pose. So, take a moment to catch your breath as I explain this next pose. We're going to work on dancer pose, and it's going to be a balancing pose. Now, it's going to be very similar to what we did when we were on the floor, where we had one knee bent and one arm out in front of us. We're just going to be standing this time and balancing, so it makes it more fun and more challenging. Now, you may want to get your strap ready in case you're using it, strap or belt, whatever you're using at home, but you may not need it. Depending on how you were able to do it on your belly, if you needed a strap, it might translate to what you're doing when you're standing up. So, I'm just going to show you with the strap just so you can see if you need to. You're going to have one strap go around. We'll start with our right foot. Actually, I'll just face the camera. So wherever you are, maybe start at the midpoint of your mat. You can still face the short edge. I'm just turned here. So now with the strap around one leg, you're going to bend that right knee. Strap comes around that right ankle, basically. Now, see if you can externally rotate that arm so your thumb faces up and grab the strap there. So thumb is kind of facing up. You're grabbing the strap. So you can walk your hands down a little bit closer to your ankle and lifting your left arm up, palm faces in. Now, if you don't need your strap, you can always just grab, again, the inside is more ideal. If you can't grab the inside, you can grab the outside of that ankle. So wherever you are, strap or no strap, if you have the ceiling close enough, you can use that for help. Either way, that left arm is up, left palm faces in. Take an inhale, get your balance. Now exhale, we're going to start to press that right foot up into our hand as we lift the right foot up. Try not to bend forward yet until you're at your capacity with that right leg up. Then you start to slowly move forward, still having your left palm facing in. Try and avoid having that right knee stick out. Try and keep that hip foot distance. Keep pressing that right foot into the arm. Take one more inhale here. And exhale, slowly lift yourself back up. Take a moment, release your leg or your strap. Take a moment to catch your breath. Both arms down. Maybe shake it out a little bit. Whew. That one's tough. Okay, we get to do the other side. So again, if you're using your strap, place it around the left ankle this time. Start with your feet hips width distance, heels behind those center toes. Now with that strap in your left hand now, have it around that left ankle and come up as far as you can walking your feet up. Now get your balance. Raise your right arm up, right palm faces in. If you're not using your strap, again, you can grab the inside or outside of that ankle. Now, with the right palm facing in, take an inhale here and exhale. Okay, try and maintain a nice long spine. Then you're going to press that left foot into your left hand to raise that left foot up. Try not to shift forward until you're at your capacity. Once you can't lift that foot up anymore, maybe you start to bend forward. Try to keep that arm up beside your ear. Palm still faces in. Hug that right thigh in. Take one more inhale here. And exhale, gently raise yourself back up. Release your strap or your foot. And let's shake it out a little bit. Nice job. If you had any trouble with that, now you got something you can work on. Dancer's pose. That's a fun one. I like that one. Okay, let's come back down to child's pose. Again, your version of child's pose. Knees and feet can be hip-width distance. Knees can be to the width of the mat, toes touching, or you can have your knees into the center. Maybe you do what you did before. Maybe you try something new. Just place your forehead to the mat, arms out in front of you or down by your sides. Good time to just connect in with your breath. You can take one more inhale here and exhale. Begin to lift your head up. If your arms are behind you, send them back out in front. And just start to walk your hands back in, lifting your chest up. We're going to swing our legs out to the side and send them out in front of us. So get there, whatever way works for you. We're going to sit on our sit bones. Our legs are going to come out in front of us. We're going to place the bottoms of our feet together, knees out to the side in our Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. Again, this is where if you have blocks, you can definitely use them. You can place them under your knees if you need just a little bit of elevation. Heels can be as close as you want. You can have them a little bit closer or a little bit farther out, whatever feels best for you. We're just trying to externally rotate, just ease a little bit those hip points. You can use the blocks, or if you don't want them, you can release them. Try and keep your arms relatively straight as you clasp either your shins or your ankles. If you ever have trouble sitting up like this, you can always sit on blocks as well, 1 or 2 blocks. If you find yourself kind of falling back a little bit, you can always sit up on a block. If you don't have a block, you can just fold your mat up, give you a little bit of elevation that way, whatever works for you. Clasping your shins or your ankles, root your sit bones down, raise the crown of your head up. Take an inhale here. And now exhale, see if you bend forward just slightly at your pelvis, trying to keep a nice long spine. Try to avoid rounding that spine. Send your chest towards your toes. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to fold a little bit more. You can gently use your arms to press your knees out. And if you want, you can extend your arms forward, coming to your fingertips or pressing your palms on the ground. We're staying here for a couple more breaths. You can always take a block. Place it underneath your forehead, on your toes, whatever works, in case you want to just have a little bit more of rest there to keep your back nice and long. One more breath here. And exhale. Just begin to gently walk your hands back in, lifting your head up and your chest up. Now, if you're on your block or sitting up, if you're sitting up on your block, go ahead and remove that. If you're just on a little bit of elevation, that's fine. But now we're going to send both legs out in front. So with both legs out in front, make sure they're hips width distance to start. Slightly flex your feet. And now, we're going to start by bending our left knee. So bend that left knee into your chest. Keep that right leg straight. Now, take the left foot, send it to the outside edge of that right knee. See if you can have the entire left foot pressing down, pressing that left big toe into the ground. Now we're going to add a little twist to this. So extend both arms up, palms facing each other. Exhale, twist to your left to your capacity. Once you're there, then you can drop your arms down. Maybe your left arm comes behind you for stability, right arm comes outside that left knee. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to twist. Try and keep that right foot flexed, engage the muscles in the leg. Keeping both sit bones rooted as you raise through the crown of your head. Still broadening the collarbone, sending that left shoulder back. One more inhale here. And exhale. So gently release that. Send both arms up as you come back to central. And release both arms down to the ground. Release that left foot forward to meet the right. And we're going to switch to the other side. So now bending the right knee into your chest. Flexing that left foot as you send that right foot to the outside of that left knee. Press that right big toe down. Place your arms to the ground just for a moment here. Now inhale, both arms up, palms face each other. Exhale, twist to your right to your capacity. Once you've gone as far as you can, then you can drop your arms down to the side. Maybe your right arm is behind you for stability. If you need a block, you can always put a block under that back arm as well. Left arm is outside that left knee if you can. Keep flexing that left foot. Keep pressing that right big toe into the ground. Sit bones are rooted as you raise through the crown of your head. Take one more. We'll do a couple more inhales and exhale. Take an inhale. Exhale as you twist. Two more here. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale as you twist. Keep broadening those collarbones. One more inhale. And exhale as you twist. Okay, let's inhale both arms back up, palms face each other. Exhale, release the hands down to the side. Release that right foot to meet the left foot. Now, wherever you are, if you're at the top of your mat, maybe scoot yourself forward so your knees are bent. Feet are still hips width distance. We're going to roll down onto our backs. This is going to be our last challenge for the day. So you have a couple options. You can either hang on to your thighs, hang on to your shins, or if you want to really challenge yourself, palms face in. I'll let you decide. I'm going to go with shins. So once you've made your decision, maybe you hug your knees slightly in towards each other as you just roll back slowly, as slow as you can, nice and controlled, onto your back, taking your time. And once you're there, just release your palms down to the ground. Extend your left leg forward, extend your right leg forward. And we're coming into our Shavasana pose. So stay on your back. I'm just going to sit up and instruct you through this last pose of the day. On your back, arms are down to your sides, palms face up. Let your knees and your feet fall out to the sides. Maybe your legs are now a little bit wider than hips width distance. Your gaze can start to soften, or your eyes can close. Just start to deepen your breath here. Release any last little bit of tension you may have in your body. Maybe you're still clasping the top and the bottom of your teeth together. You can release your jaw. Just let your whole body hang heavy and melt into the mat. And just release any last little bit of control over the breath, letting it be as it is. Okay, begin to bring some awareness back into your body. Maybe you wiggle your fingers and your toes. You can rotate your wrists and your ankles. Switch directions in those rotations. And come back to stillness. Keeping your feet on the ground, maybe you slightly bend your knees as you roll to one side of your body, whichever one feels right. Rolling onto one side of your body. Take one last breath here. Now use the top arm to press yourself up into a comfortable seated position. Legs are crossed. Try and keep your eyes closed or your gaze soften. Coming into a cross-legged seat. Sit bones are rooted. Palms are either down on your knees, palms face up, or palms come to the center of your chest. Thank you for joining me in practice today. The light and love in me acknowledges and honors the light and love in each one of you. Thank you. Peace. Okay, great. Thank you all for practice today. That went really well. I hope you enjoyed that. Again, my name is Daniel Schleig. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the chat or the email addresses that you can reach myself or the studio will be in the video description in that link. Again, we're just trying this out. I'm not sure if there are any technical difficulties with the stream. We're still trying different things with Twitch and YouTube Live, but ultimately we're just trying to bring these yoga classes to you. So any feedback you want to give us, we'll definitely appreciate that. If you want to make any donations, the link for Movable Feast is in the description. But yeah, without further ado, I guess thank you for joining me in class. We're going to continue this tomorrow at 7 a.m. So if you're there, I will see you there. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your evening.